didn't do this. Safari. Pre-market movers. I'm going to leave you up with a look at bond rates. Let me turn my volume down. You get this. Because I do watch. Hit the thumbs up button. I'm on live chat, so I can look at live chat. So as you people join, I can look at this stuff. Let me move podcast, move to trash, move to trash, move to trash. And then we're going to open up our garage band. Morning, Joe. Morning, Joe. MSNBC. Morning, Joe. Waiting for Brian to join and say, let's make some money. And by the way, I mean, make no bones about it. You can still get an APR of 4.8%, 4.91 in a U.S. Treasury for 6 months. So different. It's the secondary market because this is the secondary market. But I mean, look at those corporate rates that you can still get. 6.5. Brian, I just said I'm waiting for Brian to join and say let's make some money. But yeah, I mean, look at this. These are still, I mean, for 1 year, corporate, you might get screwed on that one if you don't pick the corporation right. But, 7.6, 8.8, I mean, 9.3, it's not junk bond status, but it's not, guaranteed status like the Fed. 7.4 for a 2 year. I mean, 14%, 7% per year, but 14% overall. It's not. Listen. In the past 5 years, 14%, you'd be going. Oh my God, I can make 14%. With risk at a minimum, it's not zero. I mean, even the Fed's not at zero. I'll talk about it. Let me see if I have it in my notes. No, I do not. Okay. Let me put it in my notes. My first Millions podcast with, I know I got, let's see, twitter.com. Let me see. Who did I follow? Bum. By the way, and now that folks are starting to join, I'll let you guys know. It was crazy. I wound up. So there was a guy who here replies. Let's see, notifications. We'll go to notifications. I guess he blocked me, so I can't even see his replies. But it was interesting because there was a guy who, I guess I can't even see my things to him. That's weird. Maybe he deleted his account. I don't know. Essentially what happened was a morning, Matt. It was a penny stock guy who had he was very aggressive on Twitter. And kind of weird, but he traded penny stocks and he would always kind of, like my stuff and look at it. And then he wrote back yesterday about something that I wrote, Schwab is a buy in the algo. And he responded to this. I think he responded to this one. Yes, he responded to this one, but I can't see it. Oh, here he is. Eternal. So, this is his profile picture, and he was fairly aggressive. He had all of 2 followers or something. And yeah, all good stories start with it. There was a guy. So he replied to me that, what do I have to wait 40 years for my 20% or something like that, or, whatever. And I wrote back, and he had asked me to look at stocks before, and I said, I really can't because you're trading penny stocks. They don't even show up, morning Sherry. And that's what I had said before. He said, yeah, what do I have to wait, 20 years for my 20%? No, thanks. And I just wrote back a statement that said, hey, you have your system, I have mine. Good for you. I can't find my reply. Yeah, this is the reply I made. I said, we live in 2 different worlds, but that's why the market is made for everyone. And just, that emoji. And I thought it was harmless. He wrote back something that was, fuck you for judging me, blah, 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 whatever. Don't try and mold me. And I said, not trying to mold you. You've got a different system, not right, wrong, or right. Not sure why you would want to even see my tweets. My stocks won't interest you at all. And we go, you're blocked. So no harm, no foul. I just find it incredibly hostile environment sometimes on Twitter. Yeah. My First Millions podcast with, and this is what I was trying to look at. I want to look up My First Millions. My First Million pod. Let's see if they put it out on their Twitter. A Pomplano. A Pompliano. About Balaji. And this is who I want to look to see because I followed him. Following Balaji. Balaji bet that Bitcoin goes to 1 million in the next 90 days. I will talk about that. And I don't, Christian, it wasn't even, we're not even talking AMC and GME. Don't even, it didn't interest this dude. It was seriously like stocks that were trading at 0.0007. And that was, when I looked it up, that was essentially the one stock that he wanted me to look at. And I said, dude, I can't even find a chart for this. And he's like, no charting needed. It's going to balloon. So, good riddance. I never like to block anybody who asked me to look at the stock because the stock market, again, is made for all of us. It's not made for one person. It's not made for one system. That's what makes the market such a great tool, is you can do it in, you can use it in different ways. Doesn't need to be, yeah, definitely there's some, I won't say mommy or daddy, I will say anger issues. And it's funny. You guys will laugh at this. So my mom's a psychologist, trained psychologist, went to Princeton, 20 years of schooling, blah, 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 to become a psychologist. Super, super qualified. So I do kind of take things, mental health, a little bit more seriously than most probably. But the discussion of life coach came up. And this was my how to be a life coach was my search. The state of Georgia does not have any official requirements for life coaches. You can begin work immediately without training or degree. Because one of my friends said, you should become a life coach, Gary. And I said, absolutely not. I mean, I just don't, yeah. GMA is crazy. It's not a squeeze. They announced their first quarterly earnings. First earnings. And GME is no joke. I mean, listen, my cousin owns GME, and I think she bought it around 150. It is no joke. It is up to $27. It closed at $17. If we're just going by a chart here, let's look at a long-term chart. I don't know any gamer who's going to GameStop, but I mean, it's clear what the direction is. Now, at 27.30, here's where it's going to open up. It's going to open up at the 50-day. It's well above the 200-day. So the 200-day is still in positive momentum on the weekly. Now, if we go to the daily, and by the way, anybody in the private Facebook group, you can read the Steve Burns, How to Become a Good Trader, the 10 tips, and one is to start off with the weekly and then move down there from there. So weekly, daily, blah, blah, blah. Here's the daily. So we are still well below the 200-day. Well, I shouldn't say that. 27.28 takes us just above the 200-day. And you can see the last few times that it has gotten above the 200-day, what has happened. So I don't want to say, hey, it's doomed. I will tell you, if you want to sign up for TrendSpider, my algorithm makes you 33% over 2 years. If you were to buy and hold this stock, you would lose 40%. So if you're interested in GME or even AMC, and I haven't looked at AMC, I don't know, didn't know what it was going to bring up, had no idea. But AMC, my algorithm makes you 280%. Guess what you would get if you just bought and held? Minus 50%. The algorithm actually wins 50% of the time. It's a coin flip. And your average win is 40%. That's how volatile this stock is. Now, mind you, the algorithm makes no sense whatsoever. It's a 4-hour chart. It gets you in and out. There are several huge wins. Huge wins. Let's just look back at a daily. If we go to a daily of this, I mean, look at the gap down. That was when the APE, I think, stock came out in August. Adam Aram is basically placating the meme crowd. So it's interesting. I think. You know what? We did have. Look at this. Dan had teased about this. Wow. We got a new sidebar on TrendSpider. I haven't learned it. Let me see. It is just to the right. See to the right of my head? There's a new sidebar. Interesting. Super, super interesting. I love TrendSpider. Toggle sidebar visibility. I like it. High yield monthly dividends, 3. I just posted those in the Facebook group. I went over them yesterday. Here. Verizon, PFLT, and ARLP. Here you go, Brian. I went over them yesterday. It wasn't... Oh, are you... You're being Sarcastic. Okay, for that guy. Yeah. I get over it pretty quickly, but it kind of stuck with me last night. I'm like, oh God, just had that. Okay, if you've ever been at a gym and you get on a machine and you feel like the person's sweat that was on the machine before you, that's the dirty feeling I had last night talking with that guy. If that puts it into perspective, that's kind of where I was at. Let's do some scans. And I think we're going to have quite a bit. But let's look at them. We're going to start with brokerage holdings. I have my personal portfolio in here because I do have some additional stocks outside of the Daily Stock Picks core portfolio. So, like, I know I have Cleveland Cliffs. I have CrowdStrike. I have Pfizer, which I don't have in the core portfolio. GMA is crazy, Brandon. You got to join earlier. Get your notifications on. By the way, if you're here, I got to go get the dog beds. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll get your bed. Don't worry. I love you. I love you both. I do. To appease the crying, I'm bringing in 2 beds for you. 1 bed for each of you, okay? There's 1 bed, and there's the other bed. Now, which one do you want? You get your choice first since you're older. You're old and cranky. Do you want to go under, Penny? Okay, you're going to take that one because she started to take... Okay. Now they're both getting into 1 bed. Yeah, so if you're here, hit the thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed. Happy birthday, Brandon. Brittany, bitch. Let's see. Ooh, we had quite a bit of cross-ups. I think they're from before, though. Morgan Stanley crossed up. Oh, I got to put the dollar signs. QCLN crossed up. MS. Wells Fargo cross up. PXD finally had a cross up. And Devon had a cross up. That's interesting. Okay, let's see about the core investments. SPG. And Cleveland Cliffs. Okay, we're loading into Cleveland Cliffs again. I think I'm loading up. By the way, I say I'm loading up only probably to see it drop to 15, but I'm still holding that one. 1839. Wow, that's a good one. Let's move to energy names that we follow. And Brandon, I would sing to you, but nobody wants that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, wow. Holy crap. I'm going to say energy. And we got everything. OIH, MRO, XOM, XLE crossed up. We talked about that yesterday. COP, SLB, Schlumberger. Schlumberger crossed up. Devon, Fang, Shell, LNG, HAL, Halliburton and Schlumberger. PXD, KOLD, CVX. Okay, I will humor you since it's your birthday. BTU, LAC, and ALB. ALB is up 1% in the pre-market. I keep hearing my dog. Okay, since it's your birthday, we'll excuse this, and we'll hit up HUBC. again, it's so new. I mean, even if I run the 4-hour algorithm on it, it just doesn't have enough. No entries found across 21 days of HUBC. Now, let's go to the 65-minute. Let's run the 65-minute on it and see if there's an entry. See, it's even getting caught up and stuck. And error back testing with these. Let me see. There we go. There's the 65-minute. Wow. This is, you know what's crazy? This 65-minute algorithm, man, it's so good. It's so good. Even on new stuff like this. So, Brandon, I would say if I were trading this, I'd get the F out. First off, I need to say that as a boomer. Second off, I would wait for the 65-minute. Honest to God, I think you're putting in this floor at about $1.40. It does seem to be crossing a little bit here, but you know, what do we have? A month of 65-minute candles. There's not a lot here. There's no more data. So it looks like it opened up here about $2. It looks like it's getting to its open, which was down. Here's the performance that the TrendSpider tells me. TrendSpider tells me that the 65-minute algo gets you 12% with 8 positions. And if you just bought and held the asset, you'd be down 22%. So I'd probably, your average win on the 8-minute or the 65-minute algorithm is 18%. You win 40% of the time. So happy birthday. It doesn't have you in though. So it you know, again, if we remember that this algo is based on, I'm going to take out the 9-day, which is the green line, and I'm going to add in the 8-day, which is essentially what this algorithm uses. So you'll see if I take out the other moving averages, 250 and 21. So this algorithm, it gets you in when it trades above the 8-day, when it closes above the 8-day. When it closes below the 8-day, it gets you out. And that's this one in the next candle. It is super, super simple. The algorithm, you can set it up probably in most other platforms. You don't need TrendSpider to do this. But it's just, you know, it's a simple, simple thing. I think that would be, if I were attracted to HUBC, like Asian massage parlors, I would absolutely use this algorithm. I slipped that one in for you. If I were attracted to HUBC like Asian massage parlors. I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, back to scans. Well, let me first fix my my view here and get my traditional ones up. Collapse this. And we're gonna, you can't run that 4-hour one on that one. We're gonna go back here. These are the energy names. I am gonna kind of tell you those, but I won't go over all of the. By the way, anybody see Google? Yeah, it's at 105. Remember when I said, hey, around 90? You want to load up on Google. Your boy bought in at 99, saw it ride down all the way to 80, 80 something. Did not get back in, unfortunately. But I do have a lot of Google, so I own a lot. It wasn't, I was trying to build up the position in my parents. They gave me an account with some of their money. They're like, we're sick of hearing how you're doing well in this market. And it's not that last year, I think I told you guys I was down like 24, 25%, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's not like I was doing well, but my trading portion was doing well. I was slightly up on my trading portion. I think about 10%, 11%. So hopefully that's in a retirement account, Sherry. I buy and hold. Honestly, I just buy and hold. I think you'll get it again under 100. FAS and SVXY. SVXY crossed up. Yeah, but I mean, paying out billions, it's a rounding error for those guys. I think it will be, it won't be immaterial, but it will be immaterial to long time. So Christian, I think it really depends on, I've read about it. I think it will be billions of dollars that they'll have to pay. But I don't know. It shouldn't make, I mean, they spend billions on Google Fiber. Yes. And by the way, if you read the new Google AI, huge success. They're being touted now for their AI. So, low-cost Vanguard ETFs. Let's see. VSS crossed up. VSS. We'll put that one in. Let's look at spider sectors. Any sector. Ooh, we have quite a few. We have XLI, which we talked about yesterday. XLF, XLE, and XLB. Yes. Actually, yeah. Netlist probably has, I mean, that's it's immaterial to Google, it's material to Netlist. But because when Netlist will win is the license. So it'll be material going, the big payout will be the initial one, but I believe that the license or whatever they have to pay going forward on a monthly basis or yearly basis or whatever, however that gets worked out. I didn't read too much. Honestly, God, I was a headline reader. That's all I did. Let's see if anything in my not owned. God, I got a ton of freaking scans. It was mainly energy. And of course, energy was down, I think, when I looked at it this morning. Twilio crossed up. Oh, did I put in Coin? Yeah. Coin integrated with the Brazilian payment system. They got an upgrade to a $225 price target. I don't see it in here, though. Interesting. I don't see it. Coinbase won. Having a twit frenzy here. Yeah, I don't see it, but God. Let's see if, by the way, Willie corrected me. BNGO was a or UNITY is a Queen Latifah song. Willie pointed out, like all my friends of color, how white I am, not knowing that. But Willie didn't point that out, by the way. I pointed it out. Enphase is up 1.24. PFF got a cross up. Win got a cross up. Nothing that I want to bring up. There's a lot in here that got a cross up, but nothing that I really want to. Oh, AI got a cross up. Still not low enough. Not for their CEOs, who's a charlatan at best. Let's look at the ARC holdings. I think there's going to be quite a bit here. Yeah. GM got a cross up. I'm going to bring up GM. I don't think, since they're leading the electrification of America, GM's not a bad buy down here. The only value in GM is Cruise. I mean, make no mistake about it. Dan Nathan was on last night saying he wants to own GM rather than Tesla because he doesn't think Tesla is going to be around in 10 years. Bullshit, Dan Nathan. You bought a Ford Mustang, LE, whatever that monstrosity of a Mustang is, the electric vehicle, and had to return it. Yeah, douchebag. I say douche, but I actually like Dan Nathanson. He's a good stock picker. The Container Store. Somebody told me about the Container Store recently. Yeah, not a great stock. I will look up Netlist in a little bit. Twilio. I like Twilio. Man, that software is good. Golf. Acushnet. BRC Brady Corporation. HubSpot. HubSpot does the... Oh, look at this. Caterpillar crossed up. I don't see anything here that I like. Deer. You know what? I'm going to bring up Cat and Deer. Because I do think they've been beaten down a little bit. I think if you want to make entry... Ooh, Melly had a cross up too. I think they've been beaten up. You can make entry for long term because I do think that it's Fed day. If you go down today, if you buy today, you've got to be willing to buy long term, because if for some reason the Fed comes out and does something wacky, we're going to get screwed. Honeywell, American Express, AXP, Goldman Sachs, Dow, CVX, JP Morgan, Travelers Insurance. Interesting. That's the Dow 30 cross-ups. Let's look at the NASDAQ 100, which we will have a bunch of. Bum, 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 bum. Wow. I got too many scans to go over, to be honest. When's the last time, Brian? Honest to God, question. When's the last time you stepped foot in a Foot Locker? She is a great CEO. She came from another company. I forget. But when's the last time you stepped in a Foot Locker? My number one rule for investing is if you use it, buy it. If you don't use it, other people may use it, but you may not believe in it. I can look at the charting of it, but from hey, am I going to invest in this company like I invest in Apple, like I invest in Google, like I invest in Amazon, like I invest in Exxon for the long term, like I invest in Chevron for the long term, like I invest in Cleveland Cliffs, which has raised prices 3 times now and has not seen a decrease in demand. I just don't know about Foot Locker, man. I mean, what makes Foot Locker I buy shoes on sale when I find them on the internet. My running shoes, I'm not beholden to a particular running shoe. I believe that if you change running shoes, you're better off than using the same running shoe over and over and over again. And the reason I think that is just because of the human body. The human body is supposed to evolve. It's supposed to change. And if you were to eat the same thing over and over and over again, your body is going to not necessarily get the nutrients that it needs because it's going to rely on those. So I don't know. I mean, let's look at the chart. FL. I think they had a good earnings period though. 97 cents versus $1.27. It's been a good, since the July lows. Even in October, it didn't go down as far as like the rest of the market. Just hit its 200-day. It's got gaps all over the place. I mean, they've been filled. The one that hasn't been filled is down here at 33. Inverse of Kramer. Let's be honest. Kramer likes anybody who's coming on his show. I mean, that's essentially it. 3.7% dividend, 12% up year to date. 1 year, it's up 31%. There's a bunch of upgrades. The average target price is 43. You're trading at 42. The 52-week high is 47. Let's see. I see sales. I don't see any insider buys. I mean, again, if they are so positive about the stock, and the growth, the PE is 9. Let's look at Lulu. Look at Lulu's PE, 32. And I tout this one under 300. So, but Lululemon, I personally know a bunch of people who will not leave Lululemon. So, but Foot Locker, I just don't think. I mean, again, this kind of tells me, there's no buys. Nothing. The VP Treasurer is exercising options at 34 just to sell at 45. Option exercise from the VP Treasurer, 34 to sell at 37, to sell at 42. Options exercise, Director, 34 to sell at 39. So 10% owner is selling out. Brian, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly how I wasn't raised by a single father. I was raised by, separated parents who wound up getting back together. We all lived in the same house. I mean, there's a whole story there, but same thing. I mean, I was raised to not pay top dollar for anything that isn't going to bring you returns. Even cars. Yes, I own a Tesla, and I paid top dollar for it. But that was, I had the money to pay in cash, and, I had the money to pay in cash, but I wound up getting a loan, an auto loan for 1.9%. So yeah, I mean, Foot Locker, do I like it? I think it's Jim Cramer. They paid to get on his show. I think Options Flow is suggesting a bearish outlook for the stock. We are seeing the 40 put heavy activity, which expires in 31 days. Follow the flow. Whales are betting the stock will move towards 40. So it's the curse of Jim Cramer. I'd buy puts, honestly. I'd buy under 40 puts if I were gambling. And this goes, here's a good example. Look at this, okay? This one's at 52-week highs. You have no insider buys. You have all insider sales. Look at this one. It's in the middle of its range, trading at 59. The average target price is 84. Its PE is not expensive. This is Schwab. It's down 28%, 33% for 1 year. You've got upgrades from Citigroup, and Credit Suisse, ironically, is still putting out things of this sort. But then we scroll down here, and look, buys. So where do you think that the smarter money is going? Into the stock that's at its 52-week highs, that nobody on the inside is actually buying, or something that's pretty much in the middle, 30% off its target price, 30% off year to date, little bit of trouble, probably not horrible. But where do you think, where's the money going? In my mind, Brian, this is the way you look at stocks. It's just take a look at that, and where's my money better spent, in Schwab or Foot Locker? It's kind of where I'm at. Okay, let's see. We just got way too many freaking cross-ups. We got Honeywell. Okay, let's look at the S&P. I'm not even going to do the energy sector because we got too many. Too many cross-ups. Oh, God. Man, the S&P 100. Almost all 100 stocks seem to have a cross-up. Let's see. Dow we got. We're going to do USB, US Bancorp, BK, GM, GS, SPG. We have Citigroup, Lynn, MetLife, LMT, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, COF, COP. We've got CAT and HON. Okay, I'm going to start the podcast. So, Brian, I think you answered your own question on that one. What do I think of it? Let us look at, where is DPST? Because I think DPST, oh, come on, type correctly. We're going to go to our strategy tester. Let's see. DPST had a cross up at $8.90. We're at $9.10. I think. Listen, I think today's. Here's what I'll bring it out. DPST. I'll do it on the podcast. Okay. FRC, by the way, went for a crazy ride. I mean, these are just two candles. This is a 19% morning candle between 1944 and 1466. The afternoon candle was just as crazy with a 15%, 1916 versus 1517. So you're trading right at 1577. I think you've got 20. So if you want to make about 25% lunch money, I think Sherry. FRC, anything in the 15s, I think you buy it. Anything in the 14s, I think you throw a little bit more lunch money into it because it has been crazy. Now, here's what you have to understand. FRC is invested. It was rumored yesterday that JP Morgan was looking at options to get more money in. Now there's a second advisor that's looking to get more money in. And the question is, are they actually going to dilute, issue more shares? And that will be the kiss of death on this stock. If they decide to do that, it's a $2 stock. People will say, you know what? Forget it. They're in more trouble than they're actually letting on. We're going to get out. And I think that will cause a run. Okay. Oh, I'm going to do one more scan of 65 minute. And we're going to do the core investments. Anything in a buy. Wow, there's a lot. Almost the entire list. Energy names to own. I think the entire list as well. Yup. Levered ETFs. Almost the entire list of up stuff. No, SPXL. There's a bull. UPRO, HIB, DRN, which is the bull. That's a good looking opportunity maybe in this stock. I think here I think this is what you have to understand about FRC. And Larry, I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna repeat it on the podcast. This is my note. Just understand that today's Powell's decision will absolutely run DPST and FRC. If he goes to zero, I think you see a huge pop, and I would absolutely sell in these stocks right away because I think the secondary reaction is, oh shit, we just halted. What do they know that we don't know? So, yeah, Sherry, I think you're probably right, Sherry. But hey, let's look at your SMMT that you got into because I think that one's still doing pretty well. Yeah, 165, not horrible. You had about a 4% candle yesterday afternoon, 6% in the morning. Looks like it got up to 190 here. Back on the 17th. Okay, let's start. We're going to go into SPY. SPY's still looking good. It broke that 200-day. Let's see on the daily. It's still got this golden cross. Hasn't crossed the 50-day, but it's moving up there. I mean, you're up above. You're not at 400. You're at 398. That 4,000 mark is getting hard to hit. Okay, let me start the podcast because I got to go at 11. Good morning. It is Wednesday. It's Hump Day, March 22nd. I've been on YouTube spouting off. So I'm just looking at stuff. Today's Fed day. My guidance for everybody is play some lunch money if you want to. Do not make big moves before 2 o'clock. We don't know what's going to happen. There's one of two things. The expectation, and I think it's in the 80%, is that he will go a quarter point. Remember, Powell could go 0.12. I mean, he could throw a complete curveball and go completely off-brand and maybe go 0.1. I don't think he'll go like 0.8 or something like that. But he could go 0.25, and that's what's expected. If he goes to zero and halts, I think there's one of two things that will happen. I think you'll see an initial burst where people get excited, and then I think you'll see a oh shit, what's happening? What do they know that we don't know in the banking system? And I think that's where I'm looking at. When I look at the S&P and SPY in particular, I'm seeing that 4,000 is a resistance level. And remember, resistance, once it passes through there, becomes support. And 4,000 has been pretty much where you've seen it kind of bounce up. You can see right here, we get to about 410 or so, but then we kind of push down. And you get to that 4,000 level. We are above the 200-day. So Powell can either move this market up where we go to the 420s, or he'll push the market back down to the 380s. And that's kind of where I think the trading range is. If you just look at since October, we've gone from 360 up to about 420. And that's been the kind of, it depends on where you draw the trend line. If I were to take a trend line and draw it from this low and touch 3 points, we're right there. Now, if I take it from the high point and I say, are we in a downward trending market? Well, you're making lower highs. So again, this intersection is about 400 for SPY. So we're just in this no man's land where we don't know where it's going to go. We're waiting on the Fed to tell us exactly where it's going to go. But if you read in the Facebook group the 10 tips, one of the tips is to start on the weekly and determine the trend there. Well, the trend right now, 50-day, is down. It's still down. You know where the trend on the 200-day long term? It's still up. So you've got this 9 and the 21 kind of just crossing over. But in the long term, we're still in an upward trending market. We've just hit the 200 kind of back in October. We broke through it. The only other time that you broke through it was COVID. So I would expect us to continue to go up from a long-term perspective. But am I putting new money into play today? Not unless I find a great deal. I listened to yesterday a fantastic podcast, My First Millions podcast, with A. Pompliano about BBBY. And if you don't know BBBY, I'm showing you his Twitter here. He is well known for calling out the COVID crisis and calling it out in January and pretty much dialing in exactly what would happen over the next 3 months. Then he's very well known for calling what would happen over the next 2 years. He's been super, super spot on. He has been, now, everyone gets it wrong from time to time. He has been very good, not always dialing it down to the day, but he's been very good at guiding you where it's going. What did he say? Well, he said, BBBY, he bet that within the next 90 days, Bitcoin will be $1 million. That seems like a crazy bet. Now, he bet $2 million. The real question is, what's this guy worth? If you want to listen to this podcast, it's in 2 parts. The first part is what you want to listen to. I don't think I'm all the way through the second part, but the first part is really what you want to listen to. It is an unbelievable podcast. Sam and Sean sit there and kind of listen to it. They pipe in with a couple of great things and funny things. But listen to that podcast if you want to get the bejesus scared out of you about the economy. Essentially what BBBY is saying is hyperinflation is going to take over. And if you don't think that hyperinflation is happening today, look at Argentina. Look at some of those South and Central American countries. Look at some portions of Africa where people don't keep the current currency because it swings by 20% in a day. You can go out and buy a loaf of bread for $1 one day, and then the next day, all of a sudden, that loaf of bread is $20. That's what's called hyperinflation. So BBBY is saying while the central banks are manipulating currencies and printing more money, and they're going to have to do this, and the inflation is going to take over, and blah blah blah. He's saying, "Hey, Bitcoin, we're not going to print more Bitcoin, so it's probably going to 100, a million." He has put money into Bitcoin, $2 million. If it goes to $1 million, he is the richest man in the world, blah, 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 whatever. You just don't know how much he has. He probably has $100 million in Bitcoin right now. So if it even goes down to 10,000, I mean, the 2 million that he put in there, who knows what it's worth. The guy's got more money than he'll need for the rest of his life. He's perfectly fine. But it's an interesting scenario. So how do you trade this one? Well, according to our algorithm, GBTC has been a buy since 11. It's at 16 right now. I don't know if this is one that you want to buy. My personal opinion is as Bitcoin goes up, Mara, the miner, is probably the way to play this. 745 was the buy-in here on March 14th. These guys are not making money. They're making less. They're losing less than they were before. So I do think that this is a $10 stock. It's at $8.83 right now. Again, it's a little bit expensive. You're going to have to go along for the ride because you can see in March this was a $4 stock. So if we bought this down here at $4, We sold it up here at 10, and then we bought it down here at 5, and we sold it at 8 or 9 again. I mean, you're doing really well. The button hook hasn't started. I talk about button hooks all the time on this algorithm. It hasn't started yet. So I don't know that you're necessarily, I wouldn't put money into it. But if you're like me and you don't like the fees that are associated with buying crypto, and also your key is your coin, that is the key. Do not keep your Bitcoin online. Do not keep it in Coinbase. Do not keep it in FTX. Do not keep it in one of these brokerages. Your keys, your coin. Keep it in dry storage, which means downloading those keys to a thumb drive. If you don't understand that stuff, do not get into crypto. Stick with GBTC. Stick with Mara. Do not try the other things. Do not try that. But that podcast is an open eye into, okay, how is this going to happen? What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. But Pompliano and Balaji, Pompliano just has a really good way of putting it and explaining everything. So I really like the podcast. What else could you invest in? Well, Coinbase. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million, Coinbase is going to be, this is going to be back to a $400 stock. Coinbase yesterday, I'm looking for my note. It was integrated into the Brazilian payment system. They have a target. There was some, I couldn't find it in FinViz, but there was somebody, and I didn't catch it. I just heard this and I read it and I wrote my note out, but I didn't put down who. They gave it a $225 price target. The average target price is 65. You're trading at 83 right now. It's just because they haven't put out new price targets. I mean, these guys, they upped it a little bit. This was when it was trading February 22nd at about $30. I mean, we can look at February 22nd where it was trading. February 22nd is right here. That is right after earnings. It was trading at about 62. Look at the price targets here. I mean, they're still down. The average price target is 65. Year to date, this is up 137%. But over 1 year, you're down 54%. Your 52-week high is 206. Your 52-week low is 31. You're 166% above that 52-week low. You are not making money. It is expected to lose 181% this year. Next year, it is expected to grow by 66. So you're really paying for the growth. Now, when we look at insider buyings, Brian Armstrong has been selling like crazy. So it's not a crazy thing to think that 57, 66. I mean, he's selling. This is, essentially dog feed for him. $2 million, $1 million. It's not a lot of money, but it is an indication that they're selling in order to kind of, hey, it's a little bit high. Maybe it's been on a good run. This is all March 1st, 13th, 17th, and 20th. It's not crazy amounts, but it's enough to kind of put it in my mind, hey, I think we've run, but if you want to invest in Bitcoin, I think Coinbase is a good one. I think Mara is a good one. You can do GBTC. You can also just Ethereum, ETHE. This one I think runs a little bit closer than the GBTC divergence. And if you want to Google that, you can. Just GBTC does not trade with Bitcoin. It does not have the volatility that Bitcoin does. There's a disparity in the way it trades. They're going for an ETF, whatever. But let me take you back in time. When GameStop was going crazy. Well, you know what? GameStop is up 50%. Well, it was up 50%. It's up 36%. It has opened a high level of volume, huge volume compared to where it was. Your candlestick, just in the last 7 minutes, you have a 10% period. You opened at, I got to get back to the candle. You opened at 26.60. Your high was 27, so it only went up 40 cents. Your low is 23.93. You're trading at 23.24. Excuse me. But they had their first positive quarter. You can see losing 35%, losing 31%. They made 16 cents. The RSI is crazy. I would not touch this one. This is not a short squeeze. This is absolutely people buying because they made money. That is 100% it. They made money. This might be people getting out of their shorts, selling their shorts because they made money. But I probably wouldn't trade this one. I wouldn't expect this to go back to 400 the way that it did. I just think that since they made money, some of the shorts have to get out. They're holding. I mean, AMC is kind of up just in the same disparity. You don't have the great kind of candle. This is only a 4% candle. You opened at 473. You're down at 455. Again, it's kind of the meme stuff, but it's not as crazy as it was 2021. Now, FRC. Let's talk about FRC. This is First Republic. It's rumored to be going broke. Bank run, blah, blah, blah. JP Morgan has been, and Jamie Dimon have been looking at this one, trying to interject capital into it. FRC did get $30 billion or something from the largest banks of deposits to backstop their deposits. This one had crazy candles yesterday. This first candle is, oh God, and I'm going to have to move this down. There we go. This first candle yesterday morning was a 19.11%. Its high was 1944. Its low was 1466. The second candle was a 15% high of 1916, low of 1517. I tell people if you can get this in the 14s, it's at 1482 right now. I think if you can get it in the 15s, at some point you'll have it back in the 20s. You just have to realize this is just as likely to go to 20 as it is to 7. This is 100% risk. I don't think that there's, the gap here between 49 and 72. I don't think that's realistic. But if they come out of this and they are still a solid bank, I think you're looking at a $20 stock. Yesterday was key. Yesterday, the high was 1944. And that was in the morning when JP Morgan was expected. The other thing that you have that may come out of this is they may also distribute stock. My personal opinion, if they wind up distributing stock and basically just taking the legs out from under the current stockholders, which if they get taken over by the FDIC, we saw it in SVB, you get zero as a stockholder. So if they get taken over by the FDIC, just understand you get zero. But if they issue more stock, that's kind of the white flag. I'd get out at whatever price I could. Because, again, if they get taken over by the FDIC, it's zero. It's just zero. SEDGE, we talked about SEDGE a lot. This is solar energy. This one went nuts yesterday. Enphase was upgraded, so that one went a little crazy as well. This one, a 5% candle yesterday. I say anything under 300. I think you can run this to 330 on a regular basis. It is expensive. SEDGE is a crazy expensive stock. The PE is 178. You are up 4% year to date. Your performance for 1 year is down 5%. Your 52-week high is 375. You are a little bit higher than halfway because your 52-week low is 190. And that was set back here in October during the October lows. But this is one that I regularly have traded under 300 to over 300. So right now, the algorithm doesn't have you in as a buy. There is still this gap down here at 252 to about 258. It almost covered it, but it didn't quite cover it. That's how I know it's coming back down. But you're right at the 200-day. So we talked about Enphase as well. Enphase had an upgrade yesterday, and it was going a little bit nuts. You can see this move from down here about 180 to about 210. Enphase has a cross-up. We'll go over this in our scans. Enphase has a cross-up, 207.65. Let's talk about DSP. We were talking about FRC, but DPST. DPST, I said if you can get it under $9, I think it's a good buy. $8.90 is the buy in the algorithm. I would rather trade this on the 65-minute algorithm. And the 65-minute algorithm, with which will run right now, has you in at about $8.91 as well. So you're trading right at the price where the both algorithms tell you to get in. I looked at this yesterday. I think you could, again, I'd be a little bit wary of Powell. My notes that I wrote down, Powell could come out with some news on the banks that could cause a run. If he says, or if they go to zero, like I said, I think there's some questions about banks and specifically regional banks. And this is a 3 times ETF. So this one will move quick. Just realize you're putting your money in. I don't care if you put a little bit of money in, but again, it's an interesting one. Your MACD is super, super low. It's crossed up $8.90. That's where you're trading today. I do think that this gap between 11.10 and 11.96, when we get back to some type of healthy thing, I think that's where it is. I did not make, by the way, enough of a big deal of Schwab's cross up yesterday at 59, at 57.17. That's about where you're trading now. We just looked at Schwab. Somebody asked, I think it was Brian, asked me about Foot Locker. And I was trying to show him, hey, the difference between where I think to buy into a stock versus where I think you could, you're not really putting, Foot Locker CEO was on Kramer last night. He was kissing her ass. She's a great CEO. And I think she's done great things with the stock. But when we looked at Foot Locker, there were no insider buys. When I look at Schwab, even though it's down 28% year to date, you can see March 13th, upgrade, $75 target from Citigroup. Credit Suisse, March 15th, upgrade, $67.50. They're trading at 59. I don't care if they even go up to 67. You're still making money. This, in my mind, when you look at all of these insider buys from March 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th, they're spending their own money. Walter Bettinger, co-chairman and CEO, $3 million. Director Stephen Ellis, $3 million. Doesn't matter that they, these guys, they have millions of dollars, and $2 million doesn't mean that big of a deal. You want to talk about having confidence in your own stock? Yeah. Look at the CEO buying back here. Millions of dollars back in April of last year. $6, $7, $8 million worth of stock at $68. 68. He's dollar cost averaging himself. He believes in the stock and he believes in the company. He's got a lot of money in this company. So where do I want to put my money? Foot Locker or this one? Even Brian said he's never stepped foot in a Foot Locker. I actually thought about going to Charles Schwab. The only reason I did not go to Charles Schwab is because Fidelity offered me a better deal. That's it. That was the only reason. Schwab is a great, great company. I think that's good. Netflix. I talk about Netflix being under 300 and you want to buy it. Again, the buy on the algorithm was 301. It looked like it was going up. It used the 200-day as its resistance level. It's expensive. Make no doubt about it. It is an expensive stock. I think under 300, it's good. Let's take a look at Netflix versus WBD, which is Warner Brothers, which had a cross up yesterday. We talked about it. This is a Warren Buffett stock. He likes this stock. $14.26. You're at $15 today. This was the cross up on March 20th, which was Monday. Sorry, it was Monday's cross up. Their earnings are coming not until April 24th, so you really don't have any catalysts per se. And it's above the 200-day. Let's take a look at another streamer, Paramount, PARA. This is a Jim Lebenthal favorite. I think he's got this one. 1972 was the buy-in. You're at 21.12. I mean, this one just dipped below the 200-day right before the dividend payout, and it's got a good dividend. But let's take a look at some of the fundamentals. PE on Netflix, 33. Forward PE of 21. You're up 3% year to date. You're over 1 year, you're down 18%. Your target price, your average target price is $357. Let's take a look at Warner Brothers. These guys are not making money. Mind you, Netflix is the only one of these three that's actually making money. Your forward PE on Warner Brothers is 15. This is an expensive business to be in. Performance year to date, you're up 58%. 58%. Remember, Netflix was only up 3%. Performance for 1 year, though, you're down 42%. This is what Netflix has gone through, where they were way down, they got way back up, blah, 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 the whole thing. Your average target price is $21. You're trading at $15. Paramount, PARA. When we look at Paramount, forward PE, or their PE is 20, so they are making money. Forward PE is 12. I think that's because Viacom is kind of wrapped into this one. Dividend, 4.52%. Year to date, you're up 26%. Over 1 year, you're down 41. Your average target price is $20.98. You're at 21. So let's look at some insider buys. This one, downgrades all the way through 2022 for Paramount Global. I'm just seeing options exercises. That's all I'm seeing. There's one buy way back in May 17th of last year for $20 million. National Amusements, I think that's where they bought out Sherry Redstone. But they bought $20 million. They bought it at $32.37. Imagine buying $20 million at $32.37 and then seeing the stock at $15. Your $20 million is now worth $10. That's what National Amusements was with Paramount. WBD, let's look at their insider. Any insider stuff here, you can see there's upgrades in January and in March. You can see it's all buys. All buys. Last year, April, May, August, all buys. All insider buys. So WBD, let's look at Netflix. Netflix, which again is kind of the king of streamers, hasn't done really that well. January 2023, everybody reiterated their average target price, again, $357. That's 20% from where you are. Options exercise and sale. So in my mind, from a fundamental standpoint, WBD is your winner. And WBD also is a buy in the algorithm at $14.99, I think it was, $14.26, and you're trading at $15. I think if you get this in the 14s, I think you're good. You've got this gap right here that goes up to 17. So if you get this in the 14s, you got 20% to cover that gap. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that you cover that gap. The algorithm loses you 53% on this over 2 years. The algorithm, just buying and holding, loses you 74%. Your average win is 12%. Now, if we were to look at WBD on a 65-minute candle, your buy-in is $14.58 and you're trading at 15. This one over 1,000 candles. Again, that's 8 months in a 65-minute window. 8 months, you're up 13% if you buy and sell every time that it tells you to. You're buying and holding this stock, you're up 4%. So the 65-minute window, I think that's the best one to buy if you think that this stock is going to grow. And I kind of do. I think these guys are in the early stages. Zaslov, who is their CEO, I think he's done amazing things. I think he's just, he's done things really well. So those are my look at Netflix. Netflix, I would still buy under 300. I think that's a good long-term buy and hold. I just think Warner Brothers Discovery, I like HBO. I really do. If I had to pick one streaming service to actually have in my house, it's Netflix. The second is HBO. And those are the two that I would absolutely... Now, I pay for Netflix. I do not pay for HBO. I have AT&T service at my house, so I get HBO for free. Simple as that. But let's look at some scans. Exxon. Oil is going down because there's news about maybe the Biden administration has been refilling some of the reserves and that we have enough. So Exxon hasn't been a great. Well, oil has been kind of a wishy-washy. I think let's look at the homepage of FinViz to see where crude oil is. Crude oil down 0.4% at 69.39. Natural gas, by the way, is down 2%, so we can look at BOIL and stuff like that. But Exxon in the 4-hour algorithm has a cross up here, and it is a buy at 106.66. It's up there. I mean, if you want to buy it and hold it again, I think you're fine. I personally have this one. The dividend's good. I like the way they run things. I'm fine with it. QCLN. Again, these are the core portfolios that we're looking at. QCLN, buy in at $50.70. Yeah. You just had the death cross right here at March 15th. It has not spent a lot of days above the 200-day. So this is a clean energy ETF that I personally own. And it is in the core portfolio because it has done well. I just like to buy and hold it. Morgan Stanley, MS, and I'm not going to go over all of these charts, but in the core portfolio, I do think it's important. Morgan Stanley, 88.98 is the buy-in. You're below that right now today. The 50-day is moving down. If we are going into a banking crisis, this is probably expensive. Your boy owns this one in the $90 range, average purchase price. I like Morgan Stanley. It pays a decent dividend, nothing crazy. But let's see. Morgan Stanley pays a 3.49%. Their PE is 14. If you want a decent dividend, you want a lower PE. Bank of America pays 3% at an 8 PE. You can look at Citigroup, which has an even worse PE at 6, 4.53% dividend. So I think it's important to own some of these banks. Speaking of banks, Wells Fargo. Your boy holds this one at about $40. The cross up with the button hook that's starting is happening right here around 38. I do own this one. I bought this one before, right around the last earnings. Its PE is 12, so it is a bit expensive. It's trading at 38.33, so it's less than where I bought it. I'm holding it for a long-term hold. I do hold it in my brokerage account, so I'm going to probably wait for 1 year at least. And I think I bought it somewhere in this neighborhood back here, around $40 in October, if I remember correctly. So I'll hold it for 1 year. It's got a decent dividend of 3.12, and TrendSpider's kind of messing up a little bit. I gotta hit pause. There we go. Okay, the TrendSpider, I got it reloaded. 38.63 is the buy-in for Wells Fargo. PXD, your boy owns this one at 208. I think I bought it in. It's at 193. I got the dividend. I'm holding it. I'm probably going to add more to it right now. 193.98 is where it's trading. 193.53 is the buy-in. I'll probably just buy a little bit more. I like this stock. It's got a good dividend. Let's see, 11% dividend, I think it is. 13.94. So, again, energy stocks pay out their shareholders. Devon Energy, your boy holds this one with an average purchase price, I think around 53 or 54. It's at 48.63 is the buy-in. 48.92 is where you're at. Today it's down a little bit. It's got this gap here between 47 and 48. It's gapped down. It's covered that gap. It hasn't covered it completely because it kind of gapped up here yesterday. But the MACD is down. For me, this is a buy and hold. I think I may have been lying because I realized yesterday, I think, that this is in my retirement account. Devon. SPG, Simon Property Group. If you guys go to outlet malls like I do, Simon Property Group just makes sense. 109.18 is the buy-in. It's at 107.16. Again, I don't think I'm necessarily starting a position in this one on today, but maybe this afternoon I might. Cleveland Cliffs, my average purchase price on this one is $20, $20.50, somewhere around there. $18.39. You're trading below this at $18.30. I am probably going to buy into this one thinking that, again, I think it's a $30 stock. I'm at dollar cost average this one. I'm just going to get in. What worries me a little bit about this chart is that the 50-day is moving down. And typically when the 50-day moves down, it doesn't stop. You can see this move down doesn't stop. This move down doesn't stop. It just kind of moves. And you've got to wait for the 50-day to be in a positive territory in order for the stock to actually make a move. You can see once the 50-day gets into a positive territory, it starts to make a move. So I may wait for the 50-day because I'm not necessarily in a hurry to buy this one. If it continues down to 16 and covers this gap, then I'm in a better position. But 1839, if that 50-day starts to move a little bit more positive, I'm in. Oil, I am just going to list all down below are all of the names in oil that crossed up. Just too much to go over right now. I'm sure there's good charts in there, but I want you to do your own. I want to keep this to under an hour. Some of the triple levered ETFs or double levered ETFs, FAS, which is financial, 3 times bull. 5706 was the buy-in. It's at 5687. So if you think Powell today is going to just do a quarter point, we're going to be good, and you think Balaji is just full of crap with Bitcoin going to $1 million in 90 days, yeah, buy FAS. It's 3 times. Just have a good stop loss on it. If you think volatility has gone the way of, just goodbye, then SVXY is your pick, SVXY. This is a short VIX, short-term futures. 61.19 is the buy-in. It's trading at 61.90 right now. This one has gotten all the way up to 67. I think the VIX, let's see where the VIX is. The VIX is at 20, so it could go to 17. We just haven't seen volatility the way that we have in the past. So SVXY is one. Of the Vanguard ETFs, VSS is one that crossed up. And this one crossed up at, I'll wait for TrendSpider to kind of act. Oh, TrendSpider, you're killing me. Let me try reloading it. It's killing me. Oh, I like Riot. I keep forgetting about Riot. Oh, no, Christian. I'll look at it. I do know that I still get HBO for free as an AT&T sub. AT&T home sub. I have gigabit at home. That's why I come to you in such crystal clear colors. Okay, here we go. VSS. 105.97 is the cross up. If I go down XLI, XLF, XLE, XLB, I can look at these. They all crossed up, and we went over all of these yesterday that I thought some of the ones that didn't have a cross up were going to have a cross up. XLI, which is industrials, 98.68 is the cross up. XLF had a cross up, which again is a bullish sign for the financials. 31.95 was the cross up. You do have this gap up here between 31.31 and 31.71 just because you gapped up yesterday. But XLF, a cross up. XLE, I talked about energy. Energy yesterday went a little bit crazy. You gapped up here. $80.40 is the buy-in. You're trading at under 80. I think 80 is kind of a sweet spot for this one. You do have this cap down here between 72 and 74. As it strings its way out, I don't know that it necessarily matters, but you do have the death cross here. If we look at XLE on the daily, I don't think the death cross has happened. No, it hasn't happened. The 50-day has not crossed under the 200-day. You just went under the 200-day. When's the last time on the daily you were under the 200-day? The lows in October, back in September and October, back in the lows of July, and XLE, if we go back to COVID, I think that was the last time you were in under the 200-day. So, yeah, XLE. And then finally, materials, XLB. This is the material sector. I think this is where Cleveland Cliffs is. But you had a cross up here at 74.44, which again, kind of, you're just getting the 50-day, which will probably have a death cross. And you have a MACD cross up. So I don't know which one. We had a ton. When you get into the Dow, when you get into the NASDAQ 100, they are all down below. I'm going to stop this soon because I got to upload this, but I'm going to stop this soon. All of the cross-ups are listed down below. General Motors, 35.22. The only thing worthwhile in General Motors is the cruise division. It's the only thing worth money. That's it. General Motors is a disaster. They've declared bankruptcy more than Donald Trump. So Caterpillar, we talked about Caterpillar being back here in the 270s. I think I bought it at 264, somewhere in that neighborhood. To 225.15 is the cross up. You're trading at 214. It's an expensive stock. Make no mistake about it. Its PE is 17. It is expensive for an industrial. Year to date, it's down 6%. Over 1 year, you're up 0.21. You have a 2% dividend on it. It's not a bad stock. It's just one that, kind of probably when it gets under the 200-day, you want to buy it. And when I'm talking about the 200-day, I'm talking on the daily. And you're right at the 200-day. And look at what it's done when it gets to the 200-day, under the 200-day. It has continued to go down, but you're safe, dollar cost averaging when you're under the 200-day. Another industrial, Deere. This is an agriculture kind of play. The cross up is at 402.97. You had just had the death cross on this one. Dollar cost average your way. I talk about this all the time. In Mexico, I guess, I listened to my podcast yesterday, Carvana ad play. But some of our the Mexican listeners have told me that Meli is a big advertiser. I think south of the border, South America and things like that. You guys may hear Meli. Meli is huge. This is the Amazon of South America. This is a company that has had tremendous growth. It's in an ascending triangle. You can see it right here. $1,219.29 is the buy-in. You're trading at $12.13 right now. It is expensive. It is up there. Let's look at some of the PE is 127. Doesn't have a dividend. Year to date, it's up 43%. Over 1 year, it's up 5%. Your average target price is $14.06. Your 52-week high is $12.75. So you're trading right in the 52-week highs. I don't want to scare you from it because, again, it's a growth stock. You can see 243, 256, 325 per share. So it definitely is growing. But it's going to have to grow a lot to grow into that PE. So those are the Dow stocks. Honeywell. We talk about Schlumberger is one. SLB. This is an energy one that sells software to the energy sector. It has dipped down enough that I think you can absolutely buy it. 48.14 is the buy. You're trading at 48.32. It has come down enough in price. This is a growing stock. It is expensive as well. SLB, its PE is 20. An energy stock, that is crazy expensive. Year to date, it's down 10%. Over 1 year, you're up 17%. Its average target price is 64. You're getting it at 48. So that's one that I like. Honeywell is very similar. Let's look at some of the fundamentals of Honeywell. PE is 26. It's got a 2% dividend. Year to date, you're down 10%. Over 1 year, you're down 1%. Its average target price is 218. You're up at 190. Personally, I like SLB over Honeywell, but both of them, they kind of trade in tangents, and both of them had cross-ups. Honeywell's is at 189.97. You had this death cross. Typically, when it gets under that 200-day, doesn't stay there very long. It kind of just, moves up, moves out. So 189.97 is the buy-in here. So take a look at some of these other names down here. COP, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan had a cross-up, MetLife, Citigroup. So if you have TrendSpider, use my algorithm. I've got two people that I've got to get back to. I'm just waiting for word from TrendSpider that you're over on my thing before I send you the over on my account before I send you my algorithm. But if you're interested in getting these charts and understanding and just looking at the charts, getting the entry and exits like I do, like you see on the screen with me, sign up for TrendSpider. The link is down below. DSP25 saves you 25% off the yearly price. You can sign up for monthly if you don't want to go yearly. It is a fantastic and they're always adding stuff. Like I was on YouTube this morning. They added a right bar here with your watch list, your alerts, news, analysts, predictions, seasonality, notes, insiders. You can add notes on stocks and just keep a list of notes. Like, say, for instance, the insider buys from Schwab that I notice. Well, a year from now, am I going to remember that? No, I'll put it in notes, and then I go there and look at it. You can have bots, trading bots to your sidebar. You can add platform exploration to your sidebar. So you can, the platform will kind of teach you. It is a great, great program. Willie messaged me yesterday and thanked me for Visible. He signed up for Visible yesterday. The link is down below. Please use the link below. Do not go to past episodes and look for links. Use the most recent link. The reason is I wind up sharing my code with other people. So the way Visible works, the way they sponsor me is I can have 12 people and I get a year off. I get a year of $20 off. You get $20, I get $20. That's the deal when you use the code below. It's a $30 unlimited plan on Verizon's network. Yes, you are regulated kind of when you're in crowded groups. I have been with people who are paying $80, $90, $100 a month to Verizon for their unlimited plans. I am sitting next to them using Visible, and we get the same speed. Most of the time, I'm actually beating their speed on speed test. So go to Visible, sign up with the code below. You get $20 off your first month. I get a nice $20, but use the code in the most current episode. The reason being is because I share my code. And if you're on Visible and you want me to share your code, once I'm done with some friends, maybe I'll share your code. Just ask. Just ask. It can't hurt to ask. I am completely friendly. I should not be intimidating whatsoever. Just ask. By the way, Boeing is close to under 200 again, so your boy may be adding a couple of more shares. Third sponsor, ID Shop. You guys need to start going to ID Shop to see what they sell, see what they do. Start talking to them on chat. Start talking to them about buying your printing supplies, about buying your badges. I saw MKBHD yesterday at a Samsung event holding a badge up. It was not an ID Shop badge. I was pissed about that. I was like, you need to use ID Shop for that stuff. So I wrote to Samsung. I said, you need to go to ID Shop. I don't have any context at Samsung. By the way, FRC is trading up at 16. So anybody that bought at 14 or 15, yeah, you're making some money. Good deal on that one. Let me know if you have any questions. The links are all down below. Join our Facebook group. Join me on YouTube Live. I show all the charts. And remember, if you're on YouTube, just hit subscribe. If you listen to this and you're getting all my free stock picks, one, you could tip me, which is great. I completely, accept the tips. Or two, just go over to YouTube and subscribe. I don't care if you ever watch me on YouTube. If you're listening to this in your car, just do that. Just go and subscribe on YouTube. Okay, I'm keeping it under 45 minutes. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. GarageBand, share, export song to disk. And I got a lot of your chats to follow up with. I think I missed some stuff. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. If I crash, I have to export the audio from the YouTube and then edit it. And what a nightmare that is. Okay, it didn't crash. Let's look at some of your... I like SMT. I mean, listen, that CEO, I know he's a billionaire. We kind of did that research, but I think you put in a pretty good base here at about 150 with his buy. Riot, let's see. I think they're another, what do they do? Are they a miner as well? Yeah, Bitcoin mining in North America. Riot and Mara are kind of the two leaders, I think, in that space. Riot, oh, look at that. Look at that. Just in the past week. Target price 905. It's trading at 898. What's Mara's target price? Mara's target price is 1204. It's trading at 876. But Riot's a good one. I mean, look at that volume level go up. Look at the MACD. The only reason I would tell you to be careful at $9 is this is the 4-hour algorithm, Sherry. And the RSI is at 75. That might mean a button hook here and a little layoff, but because it's in crypto space, it's kind of like a, let's look at the 65-minute on Riot. Christian, does AT&T still offer free HBO? Yeah, I think I answered this one. I think AT&T has a monetary benefit from HBO, but they did sell the managerial rights over to Zaslav at Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers is in the process of taking all of their Scripps show, which is like, House Hunters and things of that sort, taking all of that and moving that onto HBO. And you're going to get this Discovery HBO app. So I think HBO Max is probably going to be the home for that. And they're going to charge somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 to $20 a month. But I still do get HBO Max for free as my AT&T home giganet. I pay $50 a month, by the way, for gigabit internet. I am so lucky. I know I'm lucky on that one. Hey, Biden and those guys said they would buy oil at 65. So I think the rumor is out that they've started filling the emergency reserves. Morning, James. I think, I kind of went over it a little bit. I think the Fed raises by 25 points. I don't think it's a half point. I think it's 25 or it's 0. And I think if it's 25, I think the market reacts pretty well. I don't think that we see a crash. I don't think we see anything else. I think it's 0. You see a pop. But then I think people start realizing if he went to 0, what do they know that we don't? And I think I personally would be nervous on that one. And here's 65-minute algo on Riot. You had a buy-in here at 765. By the way, Sherry, this 65-minute algo, so you know, on Riot, over 8 months, it makes you 69% versus just buying and holding the asset over 8 months. 8 months makes you 15%. So this algo works really, really well. 675 was the buy-in, and you're seeing kind of that boom. But let's look at TQQQ. I think you're still in TQ on the 65-minute because Brandon, this is the only way I would trade TQQQ is on this 65-minute algo, and it has you in at 24.68, and it's still rising. You got green candles all the way. 1035 is the next candle. We opened at 25.71. We're trading at 25.71. So this candle may go red. If that's a red one, I'd be a little bit concerned. Not, oh my God, I'm selling. If you got in here at 24.68, if it goes red, I would be concerned, not selling. I'd wait for the next candle to see what that does. But see, down here, what you really want to look at is, look at that MACD, how high up it is. See how high it is? We had a secondary cross up on yesterday's candle action that continued to rise. But you also had the RSI going up. And that RSI is dipping down now, which typically will mean that the price will need to come down. Because more sellers will have to show up. I am not James. The only thing that I'm looking at possibly doing is Cleveland Cliffs And the only reason I'm looking at Cleveland Cliffs, I'm not looking necessarily at anything other than what's the next 4-hour candle on Cleveland Cliffs going to do. I want to add to my position in Cleveland Cliffs, but you can see typically Cleveland Cliffs is trading on the 50-day. So when the 50-day is negative, it's moved negative. The only time that this thing has really moved positive is when the 50-day moves positive. And so I think that's the key to this stock on this 4-hour chart right here. You can see the 200-day is moving positive. So it's got positive long-term momentum. But that 50-day is turned negative. And with that 50-day negative, I'm concerned that even though it's got a buy-in at 1839, I'm concerned that it may come back here to this gap down here at 15. So if we see the 50-day start to turn negative, I'm slightly concerned that we go down below the 200. And you can see at 24, the last time it got that death cross, we went all the way down to about $14. And if that's the case, because this is the last time it crossed the 200-day. So the only thing I'm doing is watching that. But let me move you over to Active Trader Pro. Schwab at 57, though. I may buy that one as well. In my mind, those are the two opportunities today that I probably wouldn't mind taking. But I don't think I'm doing anything until the Fed announces what they're doing. I'm being pretty patient. I'm not hugely like, oh my God, I have to buy. Because, again, you make your money by being patient. Brandon, I'll tell you, I think the 65-minute setup, you can set that up. I mean, that's public. We made that. David created that one. And I asked him, hey, do you mind sharing it? And he's like, no, I'll share it. So it's public. It's out there. You can set that up. I don't think Active Trader Pro will do it, but TradingView, which I think is free, TradingView will. All you need is an 8-day EMA. You don't need the actual entry and exit kind of, triggers that we see. All you need is an 8-day EMA. And the key point is, let me see the 65-minute. The only thing I have, and this is it, this is the entire algorithm, is price closes greater than the 8-day EMA. That's the entry. The exit is price closes below the 8-day EMA. Oh, Brandon, you're set. Did you set it up? They're supposed to allow me to share this at some point. Brandon, set that shit up. Shit, you should have the 4-hour and the 65-minute one. If you have TrendSpider, shame on you. It's your birthday. I shouldn't rail on you a little bit, but man, you need that 65-minute. Because the way you can trade anything, it's kind of like going from when you go from the 4-hour algo to the 65-minute, it can give you a good idea of, okay, should I buy this one here? Am I better, off waiting? But it's kind of like going from a weekly candle to a daily candle, like Steve Burns had talked about yesterday. Set up the 65-minute. Set it up. Shit, it'll save you some money for sure. I love that 65-minute one. In fact, it's become my day trading go-to. Like I said, if I'm trading Cleveland Cliffs today, I'm kind of going to look at that 65-minute. I think we're still a buy. Let me see. 65-minute on Cleveland Cliffs. Yeah, it's a buy at about 1805. So you're only at 1827. Not too far off there. Save episode. this. No, you have to set it up yourself. I'll go and watch. I can send. It's your birthday, man. I'll send you the actual setup, like a picture of it. It's super simple to set up. Super easy. It's not as difficult as mine. Mine is much more intricate, and trust me, it's not intricate. But mine is. Yeah, it's under the strategy tester. Hold on. Let me finish the podcast and then I'll help you. Because I got to go at 11 o'clock. I have a call with Miss America. Not the actual Miss America organization. Okay, let me go to and get the copy and paste. Bum 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 bum. Episodes. Let me see. Hold on one second. I want to make sure this isn't mine. Boom, 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 boom. No, come on. Sign in. Okay. Confirm. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking up my. Okay. Let me go to my texts. Delete. Where is the link? Hold on, I'm trying to links. See all. Maybe that's why I don't have her link. No. Done. I gotta look this up. I'm pretty sure she sent me the link. Bum 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 bum. Okay. 3P8. Why is that? Let me see. Okay, I guess that's right. Did I paste it in there? No. Okay. I think that's right. No, I don't have the whole organization. It's not the whole organization coming on with me. There's just one guy I work with. Same notes as yesterday. I may be working Miss Teen this year. So they want to talk to me about my quote unquote availability. Your boy is in demand. Support here, Webull links, social links, and more. There we go. Okay. And publish now. I'm not even going to share. Let me share it on Twitter. Why not? Brandon, I just want to share this on Twitter, and then I'm going to email you. On Facebook, I think I'll do it on Instagram. I may do it on Facebook. I have to see what I can log into. To see. I got so many. In the US, I'm Carvana. Okay, let's do this. Boom. Okay. And then we'll put in another one. Twitter. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. And we're going to do one more. I know I say I'm not going to freaking share this every time, and then some reason, I guess I get some listens off of this. Twitter's just the best place to get some followers, get people to listen. I mean, I was doing this when I had one listener. My parents don't even listen to this. We'll tweet that. One more. Boom. Sweet. Boom. Okay. Now let's see if I can get to Facebook. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. No, SKG. You ain't creating a private group in my group. You are getting banned. Who the fuck is this dude? So here, I'm gonna move you back over. Safari view. I'm looking at this SKG. He just posted in the private Facebook group about an event. Okay, close. I am going to move you back over to. He just posted in the private Facebook group about some event about learning to trade stocks, blah, blah, blah. I didn't look to see how he got in. I think I let people in if they answer. The host of the podcast is Gary or Bozo. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Can I? See you, Sherry. Let me see all messages. Let's see. Where are you? I'm looking for a message from you, Brandon. You know what I'm going to do? Let's go back. I'm just going to... Where's your last? I'm going to reply to your last comment with a photo of the conditions for the 65 minute. Since I can't find your there we go. Upload. Boom. Okay, it's under the it's under the Amazing 10 Rules by Steve. It's just a picture of TrendSpider, and it shows you the entry of 65 minute greater than EMA 8 close or EMA open. EMA close, and 65-minute close is less than the EMA close. Yeah, perfect. Okay. That's it. I mean, set that one up with the 4-hour algorithm that I have, and you're golden. I mean, TQQQ. So when you get in there and you look at that, take a look at, if you get into here, I'll show you. I think you guys can see this. We'll get to Safari, and we'll go TQQQ. And now this is the crazy part. Over 1,000 candles on TQQQ, the 65-minute algorithm. And again, you can set up text alerts, because if you're driving, Brandon, just set up a text alert. You can even launch trading bots. I think I have their Signal Stack, which is their trading bots. I have a referral code for you on that one too. But I wouldn't trust bots with this. But on the 65-minute algorithm, over 8 months, you make 6% on TQQQ. You lose 16% if you were to just invest and hold, buy and hold. But you make 6.5%. Now here's the key. Let's go to SQQQ. So when it tells you to get out of TQQQ, you get into SQQQ. Now, SQQ doesn't respond as well. You make 1% versus losing 26%. So there's no real way to kind of, completely get a killer, but that's over 8 months. Now, you deep test this one, and those are the results. So Brandon, when you get in there, look at those results. But if you go a deep test on SQQQ, just on the 65-minute algo, where you buy when it closes over the 8-day EMA and sell when it is under the 8-day EMA, you lose 1% over 5 years, but you wind up, if you bought and held it, you lose 97%. That's just to tell you that this one is close to zero over 5 years. So it's not great. Now TQQQ, because we've been in a bull market, not a bear market over 5 years. We've been in a bull market. So TQQQ over 5 years makes you 842% over 5 years. 63% if you were to buy and hold just the asset. I mean, listen, over 5 years, if I'm making 63%, I'm jumping for joy, traditionally. But 842% over 5 years. And I typically, do 1,000 candles just because I want to see how it's working now. And again, over 1,000 candles, you make 6%. We're still in a bull market. So TQQQ is going to work better than SQQQ. Who was the first YouTube Live diehard? I think Zephin actually was the first YouTube Live person that came on. I think Zephin was my first. Yeah, Brandon, set that one up. Happy birthday. Again, I use it as a guide, so I'll use the way I kind of look at these things. And remember, I am not a guy who's trading options. I am not a guy who's going to make you 100% in a day. What was it, that dude on Twitter? I am not a guy who's going to do that kind of stuff for you, but I am a guy who's going to lead you into probably making some pretty good decisions over the long term. And that's kind of the way I want to educate people. I want to make sure that you guys understand what you're getting into when you're doing this stuff and giving you the tools that allow you to do it. Okay, I am going to go. It is now 10:45. I got 15 minutes before my call. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Remember, 2 o'clock is kind of the pinpoint. If you do want to day trade, I think 2 o'clock is going to be your time to day trade. I think absolutely 100% you get an opportunity to day trade around 2 o'clock. This my weekly stock picks. Let's see. We're going to go 4 hour. You had a buy-in here at 271 on Microsoft if you're following my weekly stock picks. On the 4 hour algorithm, I think you're in. You're in here at 254. That was March 13th. If we just go back to Monday, which was the 20th, if you got in, your low was 269. You're at 276. You're probably making money. I mean, if you bought at 277, you're just back up to where you bought it. I typically, with quality stocks, I don't get in and out. But I got the dogs having to go out. So I will talk to you guys later.